What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromRetail. This story's called Chips Aren't That Big of a Deal. So, this happened over a year ago, but I just remembered it after a friend asked me about work stories. We haven't talked in a while. When I remembered this, I started laughing. Okay, so it's, if I remember right, Saturday morning. At the time, I didn't usually work weekend mornings, but we were short-staffed. I'll use manager for manager, me for me, customer, and customer, spouse. I was new to being a manager on duty, so I'm somewhat nervous. And on top of that, I usually work the night shift. Some of the customers we had were ones I'd never seen before. Here comes customer 1, change in hand, and 1 bag of chips. They hand me the chips, I scan them, and they freak out.
Excuse me? Your ad says those should have been $2.50. I'm not paying $3 for 1 bag. You need to adjust the price. That's false advertising. That price is outrageous.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Can you show me where it says this? If it's true, I'll honor it. Go to the aisle where she claimed the ad was. The ad actually said 2 for $5. She points at that ad, grabs it off the shelf, and holds it about 5 inches from my face. I have a bit of a temper, but trying to be professional, I take the ad and explain. Ma'am, this bag says 2 bags for $5. In order for the bag to cost $2.50, you need to buy 2. If you only buy 1, it's the regular price.
That's false advertising. How was I supposed to know that? There's nothing on there that says that. I want your manager. I'll know she'll fix it. She always fixes stuff like this.
Yes, ma'am. I'll have her up here in just a minute, I say, calling her up front to tell this woman the ad isn't wrong. A minute or 2 goes by, but my manager isn't on her way yet. I call her again, and she says she's busy with a truck. I tell the customer my manager can't get away from the truck as nice as possible. Realizing my situation, her face immediately turns from patiently happy to unyielding rage. At this point, I want to just change the price so she'll leave, but we can't change prices for an ad that isn't wrong. She's staring me down, demands a price change or my manager, and is now holding up my line of 3 people. Here's the explosion. Excuse me, ma'am? There are customers waiting behind you. Would you mind stepping to the side so I can help them? I'm sure manager won't be much longer.
This is ridiculous. You're not even finished helping me. Hold on.
She pulls out her cell phone and calls customer 2, her husband.
Baby, these people aren't doing their job. I need to use the restroom and I need you to hold my place in line. Could you please step in here for a bit?
I guess he agreed because he walked in shortly after. She leaves, I assume to get manager with a bathroom break as an excuse. Customer 2 stands there for a few seconds and asks me, "So, what part of your job are you not doing? She's been a bit of a B-word lately, and I'd like to know." I explain how she wants a price change on something that was advertised correctly. It's store policy to avoid doing so, and she won't take no for an answer and keeps demanding my manager to fix it for her. Well, how much is she short? 45 cents? 60 cents? If it's that much of a difference, I'll pay it. You seem like a nice boy. Must be new too, since I've never seen you here before. I've been here for almost 5 months now, and I usually work the night shift. I tell him as I'm ringing up the people behind him. We've been short since someone quit, so I'm filling in during the day for now. Long story. He laughs, and then my store phone rings. Apparently, his wife is now demanding a price cut from my manager in the back. Manager called me to put her husband on the phone. I hand him the phone, turn to check a text message since my line was empty, and I heard some words that still make me laugh randomly when I think about them. "Women, if you don't get your ass up here and pay this boy for those chips, I'ma beat your ass until it's a color shrimp can't see. If I gotta go back there, the boy's getting a lick too. You're grown, so act like it." I'm laughing so hard I dropped my phone. Luckily, she came up front. My manager came with her, since the truck was now checked in. The husband hands me her chips again so I can scan them and tell her the price. price. She's so red at this point, I'm just waiting to get called every curse word, slur, and insult under the sun. She looked truly defeated that we could knock off $1.11, I think, from some stupid chips. She walks to their car, but the husband stays. He gave me a $20 tip. That's funny. I like that. I know it's probably not the most healthy thing for the people involved, but observing these types of relationships with a crazy wife and like the chill husband, it's so funny. I love it. It's like such a cool dynamic, and it makes for good entertainment, which is messed up, I guess. But hey, I'm spoiled by the age of, such readily available entertainment. So blame society. This story's called, "So Now I Have to Do Your Job Now?" This happened 2 weeks back, and it's just entirely stupid. Basically, we have a returns policy of 28 days on our clothes and some goods. No underwear or makeup. When coming back from lockdown, we extended our policy an extra 28 days for anybody who purchased anything that would have gone into the time that we had closed. We had 2 lockdowns, one in March and then a local city lockdown in June for like 2 to 4 weeks, so we reopened in early mid-July. A guy comes to my counter with 2 receipts, one that was within date and one from July 27th. I explained to the man I couldn't do the July receipt because it was out of date, to which he responds, "But we were in lockdown." Naturally, if a customer becomes questionable, I just get my supervisor involved because sometimes I feel as if the customer listens more to higher positions. My supervisor says the same thing, to which he responds, "We were in a lockdown." At this point, I'm questioning this, thinking, it's October. How did he expect to return it when we have a strict policy? And we had reopened in mid-July, which was just in time for him to return his stuff. Plus, he would have had an extra month because of lockdown, meaning he had all of August. At this point, my supervisor decided to get a manager involved to see if they were going to go easy on the customer and let them get away with it. But guess what? My manager said the same thing as me, and my supervisor explained to him he had an extra month to return his things. I'm pretty sure she looked at him like he was an idiot. The customer was getting annoyed now and became sarcastic and said, "Wow, great work from company name." Anyway, we managed to at least do his other refund, but by this point, he was pissed off. Naturally, with what's going on this year, our return system has changed. So customers have to put their returned items behind them, literally behind them by a few steps on these railings or blue box trolleys. So before the transaction ends and his money is returned to him, I tell him to please put his returned items behind him on the railing. He melts down at this point and shouts at me and says, "What, so now I have to do your job for you?" Yeah, full Karen mode was activated. I explained to him that due to the recent events, I couldn't do it. It was a way of preventing any spreading and make sure everyone is safe. Plus, it's literally right behind him, like a few steps away. I mean, come on! He does it, and when I tell him his total, I kid you not, he throws his credit card at me. I was in disbelief that he did that, so I played it cool and said, "No, don't give it to me. The card machine is in front of you." The transaction finished, and he walked off without saying anything. Complete idiot. If he was thinking of getting away with returning something that was 4 months out of date, he had another thing coming. Funny thing is that he was with his daughter, and he acted more like a teenager than she was. The madness of Christmas came 2 months too early. Man, what a loser. Who gets upset about stupid stuff like that? Stupid people and loser. Don't be a loser. I'm sleepy. This story's called First Day at Work. Many years ago, I had a summer job working in a record store at a local shopping mall. This was my first time working in retail, and I was excited to learn how to handle money, run the cash register, and nervous to be learning how to handle the customers. That might be the hardest part of all. On my first day, instead of the usual store manager, I met the franchise owner. I don't think she realized that it was my first day, but she showed me around the store and told me that the store manager would be in tomorrow. Back then, the store sold CDs, cassette tapes, and records. CDs were taking over at the time, and records were not very popular. The back part part of the store also had a whole variety of rock t-shirts, hats, wallets, etc. I thought the boss would start with the important things like showing me the cash register, but no. She had me look through all the records in the store, pulling out any that hadn't sold in months. Goodbye, ABBA. Goodbye, Bee Gees. Goodbye, most of the rest of the alphabet. After several hours, I was getting a good knowledge of the stock, at least of the items that we weren't going to sell anymore. Piles of old records littered the floor all over the place. I had created quite the little obstacle course for the customers that were trying to shop there. Sometime after lunch, I looked up to see the boss charge out of the store. She didn't say a word to me. She just ran out. It was just the two of us working the store, and she hadn't taught me how to use the cash register yet. What was I supposed to do if somebody wanted to buy something? A minute later, she's back, along with a security guard dragging some teenager by his arm behind him. She had caught a shoplifter. We called the police, and the guard took the thief to our back room to await his arrest. As I started to get back to work, I saw the boss's expression change from smug to horrified. She turned to me and asked if I can handle the cash register. As I said no, I thought to myself that I could have, but she hadn't shown it to me yet. She told me that I'd have to do my best because she had to leave immediately and get her car. For the next several minutes, I got to stand at the counter and not take people's money. I explained that we were having a temporary problem with the cash register and someone would be here in a few minutes to fix it. I didn't tell them that I was the problem with the cash register. When she got back, I got a new task. Load all of the rock t-shirts and other gear into her car parked near the back door. You see, all of that gear were fakes. When the cops arrived and saw that we were selling bootleg material, the thief was not going to be the only person getting arrested. I charged through the back room as fast as I could with armfuls of shirts, hats, etc. Right past the thief and security guards still waiting there. They both looked very confused. After several trips, I got everything out, a few minutes before the police arrived. Sometimes it's good when they take a while to respond. After that was sorted out, I figured it would be a good time to be shown how to use the cash register. But no! I get back to cleaning out the records. After finishing that, I compressed the remaining record stock together, leaving several empty racks. We moved a few empty racks from the wall to the front of the store, piled all the culled records into them, and made a big sign saying clearance 50% off. I made sure to arrive early the next day, before the store manager arrived. As she walked in the door, her jaw dropped. She looked over the new display, the empty racks all over the store, and all of the rock gear missing from the back. It looked like we had been robbed, even though we got back the CD the thief had stolen.
What did you do to my store?
That is a wild story. Well, I hope everything was explained really quickly because that could look pretty bad. Alright, this story's called I Can Get That Cheaper at the Hardware Store. I'm honestly surprised at how many people were interested in my last story, so I decided to write another. This next story is a bit complicated. You see, at the thrift store I used to work at, they would have a mix of items that were donated and of stuff that actually came from a supplier, which would cause constant complaints from customers saying they could get it cheaper at the dollar store. I can't tell you how often I wanted to yell, "Then shop at the damn dollar store! You're not obligated to shop here!" But I never did. Actually proud that I never snapped at a customer. But this is part of how the story goes. So I was at the register when a man came to the register with a shovel, maybe a broom, wanting to purchase it. It was one that was provided by the supplier. I ring it up and he flips out. "What? Why does it cost so much?" I go on to explain that it comes from a supplier and that they set the prices. He says something along the lines of, "I know that's not true. You just have to say that. Honestly, I could get it cheap at the hardware store." I just shrug and silently wonder why he didn't go there first. "So, do you not want it?" I asked him. "No, I want it. You're lucky I need it or else I'd get it somewhere else." Yeah, felt so lucky. He bought it and left. It always shocked me that people behave like that. Wow, that's the kind of guy I want to be. Yelling at a thrift shop employee for something being too expensive. This story's called Slice It Thin to Medium. I was working at the charcuterie display, and when it comes to prosciutto, I've had many customers get upset if it isn't sliced as thin as possible. But today, this woman comes up to the display and the interaction went like this.
I'd like 8 slices of prosciutto.
Okay, coming right up.
And slice it thin to medium, please.
So you want it sliced a bit thicker?
I can't hear you.
Could you please repeat what you just said, ma'am? I missed it. I've never heard someone ask for thin to medium in my life. I thought I misheard it.
I said I want 8 slices of prosciutto.
What did you say about the thickness?
I want it thin to medium.
So you want it sliced a bit thicker?
No, I want it thin to medium.
What does that mean?
Just show me when you slice it.
It did, in fact, mean she wanted it a bit thicker. And please tell me thin to medium is not a common phrase because it's confusing as heck to me. Do you want it thin or not? Yes, come on. Come on. Honestly, man. Honestly, like your prosciutto thickness preferences should be as like freaking tattooed on you. You know what I mean? Like that's just something you gotta make sure everyone knows. Like I don't understand how this mess up could occur. It's just because that woman's just a bit of a jerk, really. All right, guys, time for me to get some sleep. And y'all make sure you have an amazing day. You know, make sure you seduce today and make it your loving companion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.